I can't believe I just showed you that. Yes.
What's so adorable?
You play Zero on Vampire Knight?
I play Zero. Oh, feedback. When did that happen? I guess just getting close to the speakers or something? That's weird. Can you turn this down a little bit? I'm actually holding it away from my mouth a little bit anyway because it's a little strong. I play Zero and Ichiru. I play both. I play his twin brother as well, which was so fun. That's like an actor's dream, you know, to play characters that actually talk to each other and fight with each other.
But anyway, like, how was that, like, how did that go? Like, did you enjoy doing it?
I loved Vampire Knight. In fact, did you know that the same Japanese voice actor who played Zero also played Tamaki? I found that out after I started. I mean, like after I started the series. I'm like, I know this guy's voice. Where do I know this guy's voice? And then I looked it up. And I think his name is Mamoru Mayano. Anyway, yeah, Mamoru. So I want to meet him someday. I mean, he's only like 19 or 20 years old, or he was. But it was really cool once I found out that he voiced Tamaki, because that means he and I have plenty of things in common. Yes?
All the characters that you've done, what was your favorite?
You know, favorite character is really hard, you guys. I mean, when you get to do a lot of really fun roles, it becomes impossible, really, to pick just one. And I used to say that all the time, and then finally, when we finished Brotherhood, I decided I could no longer keep up the charade. It has to be my favorite character. You know, there are only so many Edward Elrics in the anime world. You know, I mean, that's just an amazing character in an amazing series. And I am so privileged to have gotten a chance to play that role. And you know what, if you think about it, you guys, most anime shows are like, what, 26 episodes? Yeah. Right? And if you're lucky, maybe they're 52, maybe they're, you know, and if you're really lucky, maybe there's a Dragon Ball Z or a Pokemon or a One Piece that just goes on forever, right? But there are very few of those, right? Well, when you consider that of all the shows that I've done, I played Edward Elric like 3 times as long as I played almost any other character. So by sheer volume, I really loved and cherished every opportunity. I would die for more Ouran High School. I would love to do more of that, but I doubt there's going to be any more. Hey Tommy, do me a favor, Tommy. Would you split the difference and bring this back up just a little teeny bit for me? Thanks. Yes, sir.
I got it.
There are a lot. There are a lot. As an actor, I mean, you know, you want to be in everything. That's the problem. The one show that I wish I could have been a part of that I couldn't was Death Note. But the reason I couldn't was because it was recorded in Vancouver. It was recorded up in Canada, and no Americans, you won't see any American voice actors in the Canadian dubs. Inuyasha was done up there, and that's one of the stipulations is you can come up here and we'll give you tax breaks to record your show up here, but you have to use Canadians. That's the trade-off. So I mean I had several friends that were in Death Note. I mean Brad Swale and Trevor Duvall and several Canadian voice actors you may know. And oh, that's gross. Somebody dropped a bit of honey and then stomped it in, the rave stomped it into the carpet. But I talked to several guys, they're like, dude, I'll put in a good word for you, man. You got to totally get into Death Note. I'm like, I would love to. And they called me a couple of weeks later and said, I talked to the director and they would love to have you play a role, but not allowed. Just can't do it. And then when they were making the Inuyasha movies, the director called me and said, there's this bad guy. He's the main bad guy in this Inuyasha movie, and I want you to play it. And I'm like, sweet, yes. And then he called me a week later and said, they won't let me hire you. I mean, they won't let us hire Americans. It's part of the deal. So, and, you know, there were several shows that I actually was a part of that I was absolutely in love with. and then the company that was doing them lost the license. So there's only one thing worse than auditioning for a show and not getting cast, and that's auditioning for a show and getting cast and starting to play the role and actually recording 8 or 10 episodes of the show and then losing the show. And you know what they were? I'll even tell you, there were two in particular. One was Garen Lagan. I played B-roll. And we did like 10 episodes of it. And then the company, the ADV, went out of business, and they had the license, and so it was gone. And it went on to Los Angeles, and at the time I wasn't living in Los Angeles, so I couldn't, they wouldn't, involve me because I didn't live there. The other one was, oh my gosh, it was destined to be one of my favorites. We'd already recorded like 15 episodes. I loved this show so much. You know what it was? Sergeant Frog. And I was playing Kororo. I was playing Sergeant Frog. I loved it so much. We took this real wacky approach to it, as you would imagine. And my Sergeant Frog, my Kororo voice, had a lateral lisp. So he was so funny. He was like a nerd, which he is. He's like, his Gundam wing, his Gundam models, and he's this little nerdy frog. We had so much fun with it, and I was loving it. I was like, this is going to be the best thing ever. And I bought toys for the director, and we had little Kororo toys in the studio, and then ADV went out of business. And they lost that show, and it went to Funimation, and Funimation basically just recast it from the start. So I only tell you that not to take anything away from the actors that did it. Did you guys know Habercorn plays Sergeant Frog now? And I love Habercorn. He and I are good friends. This is not anything personal. It's just I did play the role for a while, and I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Yes, Ray? A riddle? Riddle. Okay, go ahead.
What do you get when Ed pisses off Roy?
What do you get
Rap
when
metal.
Ed pisses off Roy? That's good. A short fuse. That's right, a dodgeball match. Then Ed wins. I don't know, what's the answer?
Shrimp flambe.
Shrimp flambe. How did I not know that? Yes.
You said you wanted to be in Death Note. What character?
Oh, I don't know. I just knew that it was a great show. I just knew that the premise of the story was very compelling to me. I thought it was an interesting idea, and I'd heard a lot of good things from fans. Very much like Vampire Night. I knew nothing about Vampire Night, but I'd go to conventions, and I would see people cosplay, and I'm like, that looks cool. And then I would do a little looking around and find out something about the story. I'm like, this is really neat, and wanted to be a part of it. So same thing with Death Note. I just would have loved to have been a part of it. But yes, sir.
I like to just say, we saw it yesterday, and so we were all excited. We watched Adult Swim on Saturday because Kakashi is the rock.
Yay, Kakashi!
And you weren't in either episode.
Who's Kakashi? Really? What happened in Full Metal then, Ed? Where was Ed? He was at a massage parlor. He was off at one of those Japanese places up in the woods where they pamper you for a weekend. No, what was the story? What was going on?
Well, they were piecing together Scar Brothers' notes.
Oh, it was the Scar backstory stuff.
Yeah, and then Hollenheim was talking to Fry for a while, but it was
That is kind of funny, isn't it? I never get to watch them on television. I'm just never around. And I was in my room last night. I'm glad I didn't tune in and go, hey! What's the deal? This show's called Full Metal Alchemist. Where's the Full Metal Alchemist? Exactly. Hangover. He's a milk hangover. That's what it is. Get a bad reaction to a milk allergy.